The film opens in the freezing waters of the Antarctic Ocean during winter. A huge ship is stuck in the middle of the frozen sea. The captain tries everything he can to evacuate the ship and save the passengers. But the cold keeps getting worse, and survival becomes almost impossible. One stormy night, through the roaring snow, they suddenly hear a man screaming for help. The captain and a few crew members rush toward the sound. They find a terrified man begging desperately, "Please, either take me with you or kill me. Don't leave me here to suffer." His pain moves the captain, and he brings the man aboard. But as soon as they help him onto the ship, a monstrous creature appears from the darkness. It becomes clear that the monster has been chasing this man, and he keeps begging for help while trembling with fear. Only the creature's horrifying arms and long tentacles are shown as it attacks the crew without hesitation. Everyone tries to fight it, but none of their weapons work. Even bullets do nothing. Seeing the chaos, one soldier fires a powerful mini rocket-like weapon. The blast knocks the monster off the ship, but it doesn't die. Enraged, the creature grabs the side of the ship and shakes it violently, causing massive damage inside and putting everyone's life at risk. Realizing the danger, the captain climbs higher and strikes the ice near the monster with all his strength. The ice around it shatters, and the creature sinks into the freezing water below. Believing it is finally dead, the crew breathes a moment of relief. Morning arrives. The captain goes to check on the man they rescued and asks him, "Why was that monster after you?" Hearing this, the man slowly begins to share his story, and the scene shifts into a flashback. We see Victor as a 12-year-old boy. He was the son of a famous scientist who wanted Victor to follow in his footsteps and become a great doctor. With years of effort, both from Victor and his father, Victor eventually became a scientist at a very young age. But all that knowledge felt useless to him. When his mother fell ill and they couldn't save her, Victor broke down. Angry and heartbroken, he confronted his father, asking, "What is the point of this science if it couldn't save my mother?" His father tried to explain that bringing someone back from death is beyond human power. But that moment changed Victor's life forever. From then on, he became obsessed with finding a way to bring the dead back to life, a method his father never discovered. The scene jumps back to the present. The icy water suddenly stirs and the monster rises again. Shockingly, after being submerged in freezing water all night, it doesn't even look affected, not a single shiver. Then, the story returns to the past, where Victor continues explaining. Years passed as he worked endlessly on his ideas. When he turned 30, he finally discovered a method to revive humans using electricity and human organs. Excited, he went to a gathering of wealthy businessmen to present his breakthrough. There, he demonstrated that he had revived half a human body using a machine. Instead of being amazed, everyone was horrified. They believed Victor was trying to challenge God himself and acting as if he wanted to become a god. They shouted at him, insulted him, and demanded he stop his experiments immediately. But Victor refused to back down. He threw a ball toward the half-human creature he had created. To everyone's shock, the creature caught the ball and even spoke. Panic spread across the room, and the businessman ordered Victor to leave at once. No one wanted to support his work. Victor walked away, leaving behind the creature he created, still alive, still in pain, and completely abandoned. Some people had already turned their backs on Victor's research and success, believing that if the world learned about his work, no one would die anymore and the earth would become overcrowded. Disheartened by their reaction, Victor walked away. Just then, a wealthy businessman called out to him. This man had everything: money, power, and a massive business empire. But his own life was slipping away. For years, he had been searching for a cure to his illness, something that could extend his life. After seeing Victor's experiment and hearing what he had achieved, he felt a spark of hope. Perhaps Victor could save him. The businessman told him, "I will get you all the money you need and every resource you want, no matter where you are. Build your own lab and finish your experiment. Later, you will save my life." Hearing this, Victor was overjoyed. He immediately went to his brother William's house to share the good news. William was genuinely happy for him. There, Victor also met Elizabeth, William's wife. She gently reminded him that science and God stand on two sides of a very thin line. She told him, "Use science to complete your work, but never see yourself as God." Her words stayed with him. Victor then traveled to a remote place where no one would discover his experiments. Slowly, he transformed a large old mansion into his own castle-like laboratory and ordered 2 massive silver antennas. He knew that to bring a full human back to life, he would need an unimaginable amount of electricity, far more than anyone could generate at that time. So he planned to use lightning. These silver antennas would capture the lightning's power and direct it into the body he created. William and Elizabeth, who was also the niece of a powerful businessman, fully supported Victor and helped him complete the lab. Once everything was ready, Victor began countless experiments to create a full human. But each attempt failed. One day, Elizabeth advised him, "Not like this. Start from the very beginning. Look at yourself. Make it the way you are." Victor understood her point and restarted his work. He studied his own movements and built a new body structure. To make the humanoid walk and move, he connected its bones and muscles with wires, allowing its arms and legs to function. He threaded wires throughout the entire body. After completing the basic structure, he needed organs. But where would he find them? A war was happening at that time. Victor collected dead bodies from the battlefield and removed their organs one by one, implanting them inside his humanoid exactly like a real human. The process was horrifying. He cut open each corpse, choosing the best parts, the eyes of one person, the nose of another, and fixed them into the creature's body. When he finally finished assembling it, he named the creature Frankenstein. He connected its heart to a powerful machine that would bring it to life using electricity. Now all he could do was wait for a thunderstorm to strike the silver antennas and complete the experiment. One day, a storm arrived. He believed today would be the day. That same day, the businessman who financed the experiment came to see the results. Victor asked him, "The experiment will be completed today. What do you want from me?" The man replied, "What else could I want? When I die, I want you to bring me back to life in a body like this. And if you cannot revive me, then put my heart and mind into this creature." Victor firmly refused. "No, I will not interfere with this body any further." Hearing this, the businessman became furious. A fight broke out between them. In the struggle, the businessman slipped and fell, dying instantly. At that very moment, lightning struck Victor's antennas, completing the connection. However, even then, Victor realized his experiment had failed. Frankenstein had not come to life. All his years of hard work seemed meaningless. Exhausted and broken, he fell asleep. But when he woke up the next morning, he was stunned. Frankenstein was alive. He was standing right in front of him. The creature was wrapped in bandages, its movements strange and unnatural. It clearly wasn't a normal human. It moved exactly like a body controlled through wires. Every part of it had come from different people. Its stitched-together form looked terrifying. Even Victor was afraid of the creature he had created. Because of this fear, he locked Frankenstein in a hidden room away from everyone. Victor soon realized that the massive creature's mind was like that of a newborn baby. He began teaching him how to speak. He first taught him his own name and said, "I am Victor." In his deep and unsettling voice, Frankenstein copied him and said, "I am Victor." Each day, Victor taught him how to live like a normal human. But he forgot something important. Frankenstein had the mind of a child and needed to be treated like one. A few days later, William visited Victor with his wife, Elizabeth. Victor was shocked to see them because he had killed Elizabeth's uncle. Victor hadn't met Elizabeth yet, and when she heard noises coming from the basement, she went down to see what it was. There she found Frankenstein. She was stunned by his appearance, but also happy to see Victor's success. Looking at Frankenstein, she said, "You're so big." Frankenstein asked her name, and she told him. Elizabeth began teaching him simple things. She told him the names of water, air, and fire. When Victor noticed that Frankenstein understood Elizabeth more than him simply because she spoke to him at a child's level, he felt jealous. Angry, he turned to William and told him to take Elizabeth away at once. He said, "The creature I created is dangerous. He's the one who killed her uncle." He showed William the body of Elizabeth's uncle and added, "If you care about your life and your wife's life, leave today. I'll kill the creature too." William followed Victor's advice and took Elizabeth away from the mansion. As soon as they left, Victor poured gasoline all over the palace and set it on fire. The entire place exploded, throwing Victor violently into the air. His leg was so badly injured that it was almost completely severed, only hanging by a few veins. Seeing Victor's condition, William panicked and took him and Elizabeth back to the city. The scene then returns to the present. Now we see that Frankenstein had come out of the icy water unharmed. Seeking revenge, he went inside the ship and began setting parts of it on fire. The captain confronted him and asked, "Is the story Victor, your father, told us true? Are you really so dangerous that you kill humans?" Frankenstein answered, "No, that's only half the truth. I never killed a human. Yes, I am angry with Victor. I want revenge for what he did to me. He left me in that burning palace. I barely escaped and ran through the basement. That path led into the woods. I wandered there for years. Victor never considered that I was mentally a child. How was I supposed to survive in that world?" He went on to explain that even animals ran away in fear when they saw him. He lived completely alone. Hunters would spot him and attack him, assuming he was evil. Another time, hunters shot him, and to save his life, he hid inside a house. When he regained consciousness, he saw that all his wounds had healed. He was shocked. He looked inside the house again. A large family lived there, full of love and warmth. He wished for a family like that too, people he could talk to. Frankenstein would watch an old man teaching his granddaughter. He quietly listened, learned their language, and studied their behavior. He longed to become a part of their home. He watched how the family worked and cared for each other. Wanting to help them, he left the house and brought things they needed. Sometimes he left bundles of wood. Other times he hunted a deer for them. The family wondered who was helping them. The grandfather simply said, "Maybe God is helping us." After some time, the family planned to leave their home and move to the city, but the grandfather stayed behind. It turned out he was blind, but he could hear everything, and he always knew Frankenstein lived there. He considered him human and knew he had always helped him. Once the family left, Frankenstein appeared before him, and the old man accepted him as part of his family. While they lived together, he taught Frankenstein how to live like a human, how to read, and how to do everything humans do. One day, when Frankenstein had learned everything, the old man asked him, "Where did you come from?" Frankenstein was shocked because he had no answer. The old man explained, "You must remember at least the last place you were." Frankenstein replied, "Yes, I remember where I came from. I can go back there." The grandfather advised, "Go there. You will learn about your life." Frankenstein followed his advice and went to Victor's old lab. There he discovered details about Victor's experiments and was shocked to learn that he had not been born, he had been created. He also found Victor's address. He decided to go to him and ask him to create another creature like him, someone he could live with in this world. After learning everything about himself, he rushed back to the grandfather to share the news, but when he reached the house, he saw that wolves had attacked the old man. He was dying. Heartbroken, Frankenstein begged him, "You cannot die. You are my only companion in this world." While they were talking, the old man's sons arrived, saw Frankenstein, and mistook him for the killer. They shot him from behind. Frankenstein tried to escape, but they fired so many bullets that he finally collapsed. They assumed he was dead, but he was only unconscious. The next day, he woke up, but the old man was gone. His sons had taken him away. Frankenstein now knew what he had to do. He had Victor's address and had to confront him. While traveling, he found Victor and William celebrating at a party. Seeing them enjoying life while he had suffered alone filled him with rage. In anger, he attacked Victor and shouted, "I will kill you." Victor replied, "I want you to kill me. I regret creating a hideous creature like you. I have regretted saving a monster like you from the very beginning." Frankenstein told him, "I am not a monster." But Victor ignored him and was about to shoot him. Just then, Elizabeth stepped in front of Frankenstein and took the bullet. Frankenstein was shattered again. Elizabeth and the grandfather were the only ones who ever treated him like a human. In grief, he lifted Elizabeth in his arms and left the party. William, broken by his wife's death, told Victor, "You've ruined everything." Even though Victor apologized, William threw him out of his home. Victor was now consumed in anger towards Frankenstein for destroying his brother's life. Seeking revenge, he found Frankenstein again and in his rage cut off his nose. Victor declared, "I will get my revenge." Frankenstein replied, "If you want revenge, then find me." With that, he disappeared. Years passed. Victor chased Frankenstein across countless places, carrying burdens that could have cost him his life. One day, Frankenstein appeared before him and said, "Give me whatever you have to kill me. I will kill myself. But if I don't die, I will kill you." Victor handed him dynamite. The bomb exploded, but Frankenstein did not die. He revived eventually. From that moment, he pursued Victor because he had promised that if he survived, he would kill him. While he was torturing Victor, Victor called the captain and his men for help. This led back to the same scene shown at the beginning of the story. In the present, Frankenstein finished telling the entire story to the captain and Victor. He told Victor, "I never wanted anything more from you. I never even wanted to kill you. In the beginning, all I wanted was to find you and ask you to make another one like me, someone I could live with in this world." Hearing this, Victor's eyes filled with tears. He apologized to Frankenstein and said, "I didn't trust you. I didn't trust the one I created."
Victor was dying. Before taking his last breath, he told Frankenstein, "You must live in my place, and you must forgive me." Frankenstein forgave him, and everyone on the ship began to cry. Finally, Frankenstein left the ship, broke the iceberg trapping it, and pushed the ship back into the open ocean. Everyone was saved because of him. As they sailed away, they waved at Frankenstein. Frankenstein felt a deep sadness as he watched humans drift away from him once again. But now, he accepted that he would live this life alone. The movie ends by showing this as his final fate.